So, chapter 3 is titled The Lie of Our Imperfection. Childhood memories are recalled. I remember when I was a child, I was so free. It was wonderful to be a child. I remember that I learned to walk before I learned to talk. I was like a little sponge trying to learn everything. I also remember the way I used to be before I learned to speak. As a little child, I was completely authentic. I never pretended to be what I am not. My tendency was to play, to explore, to be happy. My emotions ruled everything. I only wanted to do what I liked to do, and I tried to avoid what I didn't like. All of my attention was focused on what I was feeling, and I could perceive the emotions coming out of other people. We can call it instinct if we want, but it was a kind of perception. Some people I would run to because I trusted them. I wouldn't get close to others because I felt uncomfortable. I had many emotions that I could not explain because I didn't have words, of course. I remember waking up, seeing my mother's face, and feeling overwhelmed with a desire to grab her. I didn't know that this emotion was called love. It was completely natural to love. I felt the same way about my toys, about the cat and the dog, too. I remember seeing my father come back from work and running to him and jumping on him with so much joy, with a big and beautiful smile, completely authentic. I could be naked and I didn't care what people thought. I used to be myself, whatever I was, because I didn't have knowledge. I didn't have a program in my head. I didn't know what I was, and I didn't care to know. Just as a dog doesn't know that it's a dog, but it acts like a dog, barks like a dog. Well, I used to be like that. I lived my life through my integrity. This was my true nature before I learned to speak. I continued to explore my childhood memories, and I discovered that something happens to all of us. What happens? Well, knowledge happens. I can remember starting to learn words. I learn the names of every object I perceive. I learn a language, which is great. Now I can use words to ask for what I want. Months later, or maybe years later, my mind is mature enough for abstract concepts. With these concepts, something incredible happens. I start to create stories by qualifying everything. What is right or wrong? What I should or shouldn't be? What is good or bad? Beautiful or ugly? I learn from my parents not just what they say, but what they do. I learn what they say not just to me, but what they say about other people. I learn how to interact. I copy everything that I see. I see my father, very powerful, with his strong opinions, and I want to be like him. I can hardly wait to grow up and to have an opinion of my own. When I finally understand the language, almost everybody begins to tell me what I am. The way I learn about myself is by hearing the opinions of the other storytellers around me. My mother creates an image of me based on what she believes I am. She tells me what I am, and I believe her. Then my father tells me what I am, and it's something completely different. But I agree with him too. Of course, each of my brothers and sisters have an opinion of me, and I agree with them. Surely they know more than I do, even though I'm the one that lives in this physical body. None of this makes sense, but I'm having fun. Then I go to school, and the teacher tells me what I am, which is still okay until she tells me the way I should be, but I am not. I agree, and the problem begins in that moment. I hear the teacher say, "Children, you need to work hard to become somebody, to be a success in life. The world is divided into winners and losers, and you are here to prepare yourself to become a winner. If you work hard, perhaps you will be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer." My teacher tells me stories about all of the past presidents and what they did when they were children. Of course, all of the heroes are winners. I am a child. I am innocent. I learn the concept of winner. I agree that I should become a winner and that's it. That agreement is stored in my memory. At home, I hear my parents say, Miguel, you have to behave this way to be a good boy, which means that if I do not behave that way, I am not a good boy. They don't say this, but I understand it. You have to do this, and that to be a good boy. Then you will get a reward. And if you are not that way, you will be punished. Oops, I am too small. They are so big. I try to rebel, and I fail. They win. I start pretending to be what I am not to avoid the punishment, but also to get the reward. I have to be what they tell me to be because the reward only goes to good boys. I remember trying so hard to become what they want me to be, just to have the reward of their attention, just to hear them say, Miguel, you are such a good boy. What I don't notice behind all of the messages I hear are the silent messages that are never said, but that I can understand. I am not the way I should be. It is not okay to be me. If the message is, Miguel, you have to work hard to become somebody, that means that right now I am nobody. In a child's mind, the silent message I understand is, I am not good enough. And not just that, I never will be good enough because I am not perfect. I agree, and in that moment, like most of us, I start searching for perfection. That's how the image of perfection is introduced in my mind. This is when I stop being myself and start pretending to be what I am not. That first lie happens in my first year of school, almost right away. Sitting in that classroom and seeing my first teacher impresses me deeply. The teacher is a grown up. Whatever she says must be the truth, just as whatever my father or mother says must be the truth. She's a great teacher who really cares about children, and even though the message I receive is mostly positive, the consequence is a little different. Behind that message is something very subtle. I call it the lie of my imperfection. It is the main lie that I agree to believe about myself, and from that lie, more lies are invented to support it. This is the moment of my fall, when I start to come out of heaven, when my faith in the lie begins to work its magic. Just like a miracle, it starts to take effect all around me. I have to work hard to be good enough for my mother, to be good enough for my father, to be good enough for my older brothers and sisters, to be good enough for my teachers. This is overwhelming, but it's not over yet. I turn on the television, and they also tell me the way I should look, the way I should dress, the way I should be, but I am not. Television gives me more images of heroes and villains. I see people trying hard to be winners. I see them striving for perfection, wanting to be somebody important, wanting to be what they are not. The real drama begins when I am a teenager because now it's not only that I'm not good enough for other people, I'm no longer good enough for myself. The result is self rejection. I try to prove my worth to myself by working hard to get A's in school. I try hard to be the best at sports, the best at playing chess, the best at everything. At first, I do this to try to impress my father and my older brothers. Later, I do this to impress myself. At this point, I am no longer authentic. I have lost my integrity, my authenticity, because I no longer make decisions based on what is good for me. It is more important to satisfy other people's points of view. When I change schools from elementary to the next level, I am told, you are not a child anymore. You cannot act like a child. Now you have to behave this way. Over and over, I try to please other people by pretending to be what they want me to be. I start searching for opinions from everybody. How do I look? What do you think of me? Did I do a good job? I'm looking for support, for someone to tell me, Miguel, you are so good. And if I'm with somebody who tells me how good I am, that person can manipulate my life so easily because I need that recognition. I need somebody to tell me that I'm intelligent and that I'm wonderful and that I'm a winner. I can't stand to be alone with myself. When I'm alone, I see myself as a loser, and my self-judgment is strong because I am not the way I should be according to my story. I judge myself and I find myself guilty. Then I begin to use everything around me as an instrument for self-punishment. I have the tendency to compare myself with other people. Oh, they are better than I am. Oh, well, they're worse. That makes me feel a little better. But then I see myself in the mirror. Ah, I don't like what I see. I reject myself. Of course, I don't love myself, but I pretend that I love myself. With enough practice, I even begin to believe what I pretend. Later, when I really try to prove myself in society, I become a medical doctor. Does becoming a medical doctor finally make me a winner? No. Oh, no, no, no. There are cardiologists, neurologists, surgeons. Then I become a surgeon. But I'm still not good enough according to my story. By the way, this is legitimately his story. Don Miguel was a brain surgeon, so this isn't just, some hippy dippy bullshit, okay? But I'm still not good enough according to my story. According to your story, nobody's ever good enough because what are their credentials? Blah, blah, blah. Just listen to your heart. How about that? I have an image of myself that I believe when I'm alone, and I project different images around other people, depending on what I want them to believe about me. In trying to project my images, I have to defend these images. I have to become very intelligent just to cover all of the lies. I keep pretending to be all of those images, and from years and years of practice, I become a great actor. If I have a broken heart, I tell myself, it doesn't hurt. I don't care. I am lying. I am pretending. I could almost win an Academy Award for my performance. What a character! What a drama! And I could say that the drama of my life begins when I agree that I am not good enough. When I hear my teachers, my family, the television tell me, Miguel, you have to be this way. But I am not. I am searching for appreciation, for acceptance, for love, not knowing that it's just a story. I am searching for perfection, and I find it very interesting how not being perfect becomes the biggest excuse people use to justify their actions. Every time they make a mistake, they need to defend their image. I hear them say, well, I'm only human, I'm not perfect, only God is perfect. This also becomes the biggest excuse for every mistake I make. Oh well, nobody's perfect. What a great justification. I go to church and they show me pictures of saints. This is perfection. But in the faces of the saints, I see suffering and pain. Oh, to be perfect, do I need to be like them? Yes, I am here to suffer, and if I suffer with patience, maybe when I die I can receive my reward in heaven. Maybe then I'll be perfect. That's a neurotic version of Christianity, by the way. I used to believe that because I heard it so often, but it's just a story. I had so many superstitions in my head about myself, about everything. Lies that came from thousands of years ago still affect the way we create our own story. What I was told as a child is only God is perfect. All of God's creation is perfect, except humans. At the same time, I was told that God put humans at the very top of creation. But how can humans be at the top of creation when everything is perfect except humans? It didn't make sense. It still doesn't. After I grew up, I thought about the contradiction. This is not possible. If God is perfect, well, God is the one who creates everything. If I really believe in the perfection of God's creation, then I think that all of us are perfect. Or God is not perfect either. One or the other. I love and respect all of God's creation. How can I say, God, you have created billions of people and they are not perfect? For me to say that I am not perfect or that you are not perfect is the greatest insult to God from my point of view. If we don't see the perfection, it's because our attention is focused on the lie, on that image of perfection that we can never be. And how many of us give up trying to be the image of perfection, but in giving up, we don't go as warriors. We just accept that we are failures, that we will never make it, and we blame everything outside us. I didn't make it because nobody helped me, because of this or that or whatever. There are hundreds of excuses, but now the self-judgment is even worse than before. When we are still trying to be perfect, the judgment is there, but it's not as bad as when we give up. Then we try to cover our frustration and say, I'm okay, this is the kind of life I want. But we know that we have failed, and we can't hide what we believe from ourselves. Of course, anytime we try to be what we are not, we fail. It's so difficult to be what we are not, to pretend to be what we are not. I used to pretend that I was very happy and very strong and very important. Wow. Living that way is truly a deep hell. It's a setup. It's a no-win situation. You can never be what you are not, and that is the main point. You can only be you. That's it. And you are you right now, and it's effortless. There is no need to justify what we are. There is no need to work hard to become what we are not. We just need to return to our integrity, to the way we were before we learned to speak. Perfect. As little children, we are authentic. When we are hungry, we only want to eat. When we are tired, we just want to sleep. Only the present time is real for us. We don't care about the past. We aren't worried about the future. We enjoy life. We want to explore and to have fun. Nobody teaches us to be that way. We are born that way. We are born in truth, but we grow up believing in lies. This is the whole drama of humanity, the whole problem with storytellers. One of the biggest lies in the story of humanity is the lie of our imperfection. That lie had a big effect in my own life, and though I tell others not to make assumptions, I have to assume that in one way or another, this happens to all of us. Of course, there are differences in the story, but I think the pattern is more or less the same for everyone. Hardly anyone can escape from the setup. I was a perfect little child. I was innocent, and I ate the lie that I am not what I should be. I believed that I would have to work hard to become what I should be. This is how I learned to create my story, and because I had faith in the story became truth for me. And the story, even if it is full of lies, is perfect. It is wonderful and beautiful. The story is not right or wrong or good or bad. It's just a story, and that's all. But with awareness, we can change the story. Step by step, we can return to truth. I hope you guys enjoyed those two chapters. I'm done for tonight. Peace and love.